Record to the busy progress indicator. Busy progress indicator. Window system dialog.
Hi, welcome to the Divinely You podcast. Welcome to Saradivinelyyou on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your viewing. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you sharing all of the things. I want to talk about two things today related to accessibility and disability. So first of all, for those of you who are new to me, I am significantly low vision. And so I focus all of my accessibility on visual impairment or blindness. So every Tuesday, I kind of talk about something related to that with regard to accessibility. And so there's that. So first thing I want to talk about is if you know anyone who has been losing vision, has lost vision, is new to, or even is they've lived their whole life being blind or whatever, but they want services without restrictions or without judgment or whatever. I am looking to just connect with people who are looking for like different service opportunities. I'm kind of just putting some feelers out there just to see what kind of connections I can build with regard to anyone who's looking for services without restriction. So one of the things that really bothered me during the last couple of years is people who have lost vision or who were losing vision, like right when this catastrophe began, couldn't get service support for losing their vision because of restrictions and whatnot. And so I personally can't imagine losing vision and needing somebody to come and teach me things hands-on, and they're not allowed to, or not able to, or not willing to, or whatever. And so I know people who have experienced that and have had a really difficult time adjusting to vision loss because of that, because of the lack of being able to get services for various reasons related to the same problem. And it still continues to be an issue because of restrictions with service providing organizations and whatnot. So I'm gonna leave it at that. That puts it out there pretty boldly for me. I do post on YouTube, so I don't want to get censored for saying more. But anyway, so if you know anyone, parents of children who are seeking services and don't want their children to have to deal with restrictions, I would love to talk to them as well. So please connect them. Please connect them to me, share this video, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, so the next couple of weeks, I want to just like share if your business uses a website or uses an app or anything like that. The next couple of weeks, I'm going to kind of talk about settings. I'm going to talk about iOS. It's what I have. Most of what I'm going to talk about also applies to non-iOS or Android. The issue with Android with accessibility is not unlike the issue with Android in general, which is that all of the devices are so different that their capacities and capabilities can be different and will be different. So, but I believe, generally speaking, you can find accessibility settings on Android devices just as easily as iOS. And you'll find some of the similar settings. The terms may be different. But anyway, so I'm going to show you them on iOS and whatever. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'll answer them. Obviously, you can always message me directly or whatever. sewcoaching@gmail.com is the way to do that. Okay, so let's do this.
Reactions, apps, more meeting, end button. Stop recording, pause record, multiple share screen button.
Okay.
Desktop 11
I'm like
selected.
having a day with tech.
Basic 1. You are off. Stop internet sharing screen in. What iPhone, iPad, AirPlay 1 out of selected. You are share sound button. Optic share. iPhones.
Okay.
Start screen share. Share tool. Window. System dialog. New button. Zoom.us has new system dialog. Zoom.us has new system dialog. You are currently on a button. To click this button, press Control Option Space.
All right. So let's get in here. Hopefully nope, it did not. So you're gonna see my desktop until my There we go. Okay, so we're going to scroll down on the left-hand side to accessibility. This is available on any iOS device. This is my iPad. I just updated it, so I'm on iOS 15.3 is what I'm working on. But nothing I'm going to show you is not new to this specific iOS version. So you can look at any other version and you'll be able to find the same things. Let's see. I'm not going to talk about VoiceOver today. VoiceOver is the screen reader that's built into all iOS and Mac devices by standard. I mean, this has like been there for a long time. Zoom. I don't have much to say about Zoom. Zoom is a magnifier that enlarges the screen. So if I take my 3 fingers and double tap my screen, it zooms it in. 3 fingers, double tap, it zooms it out. To adjust it is like 3 fingers and diagonally and all of that. But what I really want to go into is, let's see, display and text. So we have bold text, large text, button shapes, on-off labels. Those are some button shapes and on-off labels are some non-visual, or they're visual to change the visuals of what you're dealing with. Bold text and large text ought to be self-explanatory. The thing I'll say about bold and large text is also known as dynamic text. So if your app has dynamic text turned on or activated, then whatever size text that I have set on my device will be what size text comes up in your app. And then reduced transparency is a big one for me. If I turn that off and I swipe down that control center, can you see like the menu or the settings menu behind it? If I turn that back on, you don't see that, you see the solid gray. So this reduces visual confusion, trying to see too much crap and having to figure out like what all the crap is. Okay, let's talk about smart invert versus classic invert, because this is pretty common for most low vision users. Also, a lot of low vision users do use dark mode because it puts a dark screen with the white text, which is easier to read. It's also less contrast or less bright, so less glare. So smart invert versus classic invert. Classic invert does bit by bit, it inverts the colors. So if you've got white text or black text on white screen, it's going to invert it to white text on a black screen. So that means red becomes turquoise, aqua, whatever, blue becomes yellow, like it does the opposite that you think. So I actually used to know how to define the colors based on their inverted color, because I've been using invert for so long that I remember life before smart invert. So smart invert inverts the screen, but it does not invert things like images or videos or other such things. And so it distinguishes those things provided it's in the coding that way. So it's super helpful tool because it allows me to use invert on apps or websites that don't have dark mode, but I can still see pictures normally. The colorations are still normal. So it can distinguish that. So those are some really common low vision settings that folks use. There's lots of other things. Auto brightness is another one that I would talk about for a second, because this one's turned on. But on my phone, I don't usually have it on, because then if I open my phone and it's bright out, it's going to dim my phone and I can't see it. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that for now, because I don't want to get too overwhelming, and I can get really overwhelming and tell you lots of things about everything. And you're like, what? but you can go into your iOS device, and I really recommend doing this just so that you have an idea of like what is available to somebody who may be using your app or your website. Settings, and then just scroll down to accessibility, and you can go into any one of these categories and see what all people are using for different things. So I hope that this was helpful without being too much information.
Move focus to next window. Your screen share image. You are used stop share button.
There you go. So next week, I'm going to talk about the screen reader and like some stuff you can do on your website or your app to make the app more user-friendly for somebody who's using a screen reader. But you can go into your iOS device and you can play with these settings all you want. VoiceOver has a training in there to learn how to use the different gestures to operate VoiceOver. There's different ways that you can use other tools for spoken content. There we go, words. Anyway, so I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, like I said, leave them in the comments. You can share this video if you know a business owner or someone who's building a website and maybe they want to know about accessibility so they can implement it as they're building, as they're creating, and all that. So thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Once again, as I said in the beginning, if you do know people who are looking to connect with services without restrictions, please connect them, send them my way. I'm interested in having some conversations around that and see where that leads. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Stop recording.